Welcome to Recap King. In this video, we will explain Mortal Kombat. This movie tells the story of an MMA fighter seeks out Earth's greatest champions in order to stand against the enemies of Outworld in a high-stakes battle for the universe. Can the Earth's champions win and save Earthrealm? Let's find out in Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat begins with the story of a leader of the Shirai Ryu ninja clan named Hanzo Hasashi, a man with a dragon mark on one of his arms. Hanzo has a wife, a son, and a baby girl. The four of them live together in the camp of the ninja clan led by Hanzo in the middle of the forest. One day, when Hanzo was going about his routine of fetching water from the well, he heard his wife scream from a distance. He rushed out of the well and ran back to the house. On the way to his house, he saw that some of his ninja troops had been killed. He arrived in front of his house, where he found his wife and son dead horribly with their bodies covered in ice. Not long after, Hanzo was attacked by Bihan's troops, who were Lin Kuei assassins. One by one, Bihan's men were able to be knocked out by Hanzo, until finally Hanzo came face to face with Bihan. Their abilities seemed to be balanced. However, Bihan managed to grab a dagger called a kunai from Hanzo's hand and stabbed it into Hanzo's chest. Hanzo fell to the ground. In the evening, after Bihan left, the sound of a baby crying, hidden under the foundation of the house, woke Hanzo up. Hanzo tried to walk into his house, but his efforts were in vain. His body was now too weak, and in the end, he died. Not long after, a fire appeared that enveloped and made Hanzo's body disappear. In the middle of the night when it rained heavily, the god of thunder, named Raiden, came to Hanzo's house. He retrieved the kunai from where Hanzo had burned, and walked into the house to save his baby daughter. Then, Raiden with the baby girl disappeared. Apparently, before dying, Hanzo gave his life to the Earthrealm, so that even though his body had died, Hanzo's soul would still be stored in another world. Hanzo promises to take his revenge on Bihan someday. On Earth, there is a deadly tournament known as Mortal Kombat. This tournament brings together fighters from Earthrealm with fighters from Outworld. Outworld fighters, who hail from extraterrestrial dimensions, have won 9 out of 10 tournaments that have been held, and if the Earthrealm warriors were to lose again, the Outworld would be able to rule the Earth. However, an ancient prophecy says that someday, there will appear the strongest fighter from the Earth, who will win the tournament. The same prophecy says that the fighter will be helped by Hanzo Hasashi, who rise again. Thousands of years after, a street fighter named Cole Young is preparing to fight with the help of his wife, Allison, and daughter, Emily. Initially, Cole can attack his opponent repeatedly. However, his opponent was able to turn things around. Cole was rendered helpless after being heavily attacked, so he was forced to give up the fight. Meanwhile, in Outworld, Bihan, who's still alive, has changed his physical form to Sub-Zero. He met his leader, named Tsung. As it turns out, Tsung is worried about an ancient prophecy that predicts the appearance of an Earthrealm fighter descended from Hanzo Hasashi. If an Earthrealm fighter wins Mortal Kombat, there won't be any enemies from Outworld left to fight them. Bihan replies that the ancient prophecy is impossible, because he has slaughtered all of Hanzo Hasashi's descendants. However, Tsung still couldn't shake off his worries. He also ordered Bihan to come down to Earth and kill all the tournament participants from the Earthrealm camp before Mortal Kombat began. Back to Cole, who had just finished his fight, where then he seemed to see a strange shadow figure. However, when he turned his head again, the figure had disappeared. Then, as he was heading to the waiting room to meet his daughter, suddenly, a man named Jax approached him. Jax is intrigued by the dragon mark on Cole's body, and he asks if the mark is caused by a skin disease or something. Emily, who heard their conversation, immediately explained that the mark had been there since Cole was born. After that, Cole and his family were eating at a restaurant when it suddenly snowed in the summer. Although initially amazed at the sight, Emily's facial expression began to change after the table in front of her froze. It's at this point that Sub-Zero comes in and spits thousands of ice at where Cole and his family are eating. Luckily, Jax stopped his car right in front of the restaurant. Cole and his family then get into Jax's car, and they try to escape from the place. In the car, Jax shows dragon marks on his body, just like Cole's dragon marks. Jax also explains that Sub-Zero is after everyone who has the dragon mark. Sure enough, as they pass through a deserted alley, Sub-Zero stopped them again. Jax then asks Cole to save his family and look for a woman named Sonya Blade. Sonya would answer Cole's confusion. Then, Jax gets out of his car with his rifle and confronts Sub-Zero alone. Jax enters the building where Sub-Zero is hiding. Inside, Jax saw that the entire building had been covered in ice. Suddenly, Sub-Zero was standing in front of him. Jax took the opportunity to shoot Sub-Zero in the face. However, Sub-Zero quickly froze Jax's rifle. Then, Sub-Zero grabbed both of Jax's arms, which instantly turned into ice. He then crushed Jax's arm and knocked him off the top of the building. Elsewhere, Cole has arrived at the address Jax gave. However, as he gets out of his car, Cole is attacked by a woman. Cole showed a dragon mark on his body. It turned out that the woman who attacked him was Sonya Blade. Sonya then invites Cole to enter her house. Sonya tells that 7 years ago, she and Jax were trying to catch a criminal who had the dragon mark on his body. The villain also has abilities that exceed ordinary people. However, when Jax managed to kill the villain's dragon mark magically moved to Jax's body. For years, Sonya searched for information about the dragon mark. It turns out that the dragon mark has been around for thousands of years. The owners of the dragon mark are the people who are chosen as fighters to represent the Earth in the Mortal Kombat tournament. During this time, Sonya had managed to track down people who had the dragon mark. However, they had been killed by a mysterious creature. While talking to Sonya, Cole realizes that someone else is at Sonya's house. Cole walked into the next room and turned on the light. It turned out that in the room, there was a man who was tied up. The man's name is Kano. He is a hitman, as well as a gun and drug dealer. Kano had killed one of the fighters who had the dragon mark, so the dragon mark was transferred to him. Because of that, Sonya was forced to keep Kano in her house. Suddenly, the lights in Sonya's house went out. Sonya and Cole couldn't see anything, but they could hear movement in the house. A moment later, Kano was attacked by a creature. His face was torn from the sudden attack. However, the creature also secretes an acidic slime that can melt iron. Kano used the slime to untie the knot. Then, Kano threw a flare so that the flames made the creature visible. Kano, with the help of Sonya and Cole, manages to kill the creature. Their victory, however, came at a heavy price by burning Sonya's files. She was confused because she no longer knew how to get to the Raiden's temple, which was the training ground for the fighters who were selected to participate in the Mortal Kombat tournament. Hearing that, Kano said that he knew where Raiden's temple was, because he had supplied weapons there in the past. However, he was not willing to help Sonya, who had held him captive, threw a knife at him, and allowed the creature to rip his face. Sonya didn't give up. She is willing to pay for Kano to take her and Cole to Raiden's temple. Kano accepted Sonya's offer, and they immediately departed on a chartered plane. As the plane passed through the desert, the three of them plunged and landed in the desert. Then, they continued their journey on foot and met Liu Kang, who also had the dragon mark on his body. With Liu Kang's help, they walked together towards Raiden's temple. Arriving inside the temple, Liu Kang explains that they will train to find the hidden power of the dragon mark on their bodies. Sonya then walked into another room where Jax was lying. Sonya is surprised to see Jax in the temple. Liu Kang explains that he found Jax in such a condition. He had been trying to find a cure from another dimension to cure Jax. They entered Raiden's room. There, they met Raiden, whose eyes gave off a white glow. Raiden was disappointed with the fighters who came to his place, because they didn't look ready to follow Mortal Kombat. Even one of the fighters didn't have the dragon mark. In the afternoon, when Liu Kang was meditating, suddenly, the wall in the temple was breached. Sub-Zero managed to enter and attack Liu Kang. Luckily, Kung Lao, Liu Kang's cousin, came to his aid, though then the situation turned against them again. The leader of Outworld, Tsung, appears escorted by one of his subordinates, Mileena. Tsung told Mileena to slaughter the Earthrealm representative fighters. But, before Mileena can successfully fulfill her task, Raiden appears and makes a shield from lightning to protect the fighters. Realizing that the shield was impenetrable, Tsung and his men immediately left the place. Liu Kang explains that fighters will have superpowers that form from the arcana, after the dragon mark appears on their bodies. Liu Kang and Kung Lao will help the fighters to bring out the arcana from their respective bodies, while Sonya, who does not have the dragon mark, is asked to sit on the side of the arena. Sonya was bored and chose to meet Jax, who turned out to have woken up. Now Jax has a robotic arm, a replacement for his severed arm. Cole continues to practice, but his attempt to bring out the arcana was unsuccessful. Meanwhile, Kano, who was constantly teased by Liu Kang and Kung Lao, became angry. Unknowingly, his desire to avenge Liu Kang and Kung Lao's taunts managed to bring out his arcana, which was a laser beam in his eyes. Seeing Cole, who was never able to get his arcana out, Raiden kicked him out of the temple. He opens a lightning portal hole that can send Cole back quickly to his home. From Raiden's explanation, Cole's dragon mark is inherited from his ancestor, Hanzo. In the past, Raiden managed to save one descendant of Hanzo, and since then, the dragon mark that came from Hanzo was passed down from generation to generation. In Outworld, Tsung summons three of his men, Midora, Cabal, and General Reiko. He asked his three subordinates to help him break down the lightning shield that Raiden made, so that he could quickly kill the Earthrealm fighters and rule the Earth. Here, Kabal proposes an idea. He knows someone with 4 arms who can help him attack Cole. A few moments later, Kabal came to Raiden's temple and invited Kano to talk. Kabal tries to persuade Kano to betray them, with the lure of a sizable reward. Hearing this, Kano immediately agreed. Then, Kano damaged the dragon statue with a laser beam from his eye, causing Raiden's shield to disappear instantly. Shang Tsung then appears in the training arena to kill all the fighters. Cole, who had returned to his home, was not spared from terror. He is approached by Goro, a very large 4-armed monster. Back to Raiden's temple, where the fighters defend themselves from the attacks of Shang Tsung and his men. Liu Kang fought Kabal, Jax fought Reiko, and Sonya fought Mileena. Sonya was quite overwhelmed with Mileena. Unfortunately, Sonya was thrown by Kano. Then with his laser eye, Kano dropped a large rock on Sonya's body. Kung Lao had a different fate who fought against Nidora. He can defeat Nidora easily using his iron hat. Meanwhile, Cole is overwhelmed to face Goro because the arcana in his body has not yet appeared. Panicking, Allison and Emily also come to help and attack Goro. However, it actually made Goro turn to attack Allison and Emily. In this moment, seeing his family threatened, the arcana in Cole appears. With his arcana in the form of a suit of armor and a set of tonfas, Cole managed to kill Goro. Back to Raiden's temple where Jax tries to help Sonya, who is crushed by rocks. Unknowingly, this gives rise to the arcana in Jax, a robotic arm with superhuman strength that can lift large rocks with ease. When things get chaotic, Raiden appears in the arena and summons Cole again using his lightning portal. After Cole arrives, Raiden then creates a portal so that all fighters can leave the arena. However, Kung Lao's fate was unfortunate, because he was killed by Shang Tsung and his soul was sucked to death. Raiden takes all the surviving fighters to the Void, a safe haven where Shang Tsung and his men cannot find them. There, Raiden gave Hanzo Hasashi's kunai to Cole, to make Cole stronger by getting Hanzo's soul from the kunai. Then Cole plans to force Outworld's champion into a single combat. Therefore, he asked Raiden to use the lightning portal in order to manage the single combat. Not long after, Jax fought with Reiko where Jax managed to attack Reiko repeatedly. Elsewhere, Sonya is seen beating Kano. Sonya threw something into Kano's eyes so Kano couldn't get the laser beam out of his eyes. Sonya was able to kill Kano, and Kano's dragon mark immediately transferred to Sonya's body. Meanwhile, Liu Kang fought against Kabal. With the fiery arcana from his hand, Liu Kang can burn Kabal's body to a scorch. After that, Sonya came to help Cole, who was fighting Mileena. Sonya takes out a laser fist that kills Mileena. With his cunning, Sub-Zero managed to take Cole's wife and daughter hostage. Seeing his wife and daughter being held captive, Cole reacts to chasing Sub-Zero, where he is suddenly in a room filled with ice. Cole fights against Sub-Zero. However, Sub-Zero is too strong, until Cole has to use his kunai to attack. Sub-Zero can flip the kunai that Cole is holding to stab into Cole's body. Cole tried his best to hold the kunai until his hand bled. It turns out that the blood that sticks to the kunai awakens Hanzo Hasashi, who comes as Scorpion. Scorpion fights against Sub-Zero. When Sub-Zero almost managed to freeze Scorpion's body into ice, Scorpion clenched his fists until he released fire so that the ice that had frozen his legs melted and made the Cole family wake up. Then, Cole helped Scorpion by throwing the kunai into Sub-Zero's chest. Sub-Zero fell down. Then, Scorpion takes off his mask and shoots fire at Sub-Zero's body until it scorches. Before leaving, Scorpion gave a message for Cole to guard the Shirai Ryu clan's lineage. At the end of the film, Cole's friends arrive, as well as Raiden and Shang Tsung. Shang Tsung threatens that their battle is not over yet. He will bring more troops. Suddenly, Sub-Zero's corpse was shrouded in black mist and then disappeared. Raiden also sent Shang Tsung back to Outworld. Then, Raiden orders the fighters to track down those who have the dragon mark and prepare them for the next tournament. The film ends. The message of this story is that the ideal world is where good can overcome evil. However, to create an ideal world is not easy. It takes hard work, solid and consistent cooperation. From the Earthrealm Champions group, we can see how a good collaboration can achieve the desired target.